Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Lou. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast after the Raptors lose 106 to 103 against the Denver Nuggets. Okay, let's get the crying out the way. Obviously, no Nikola Jokic, no Christian Brown, no Aaron Gordon. The Nuggets were down several bodies. Then they proceeded to lose their second best player on the night with Jonas Valanciunas going down. Former Raptor JV had to lead the game with a calf strain. I mean, that's the most popular injury in the NBA right now is the calf strain. Hopefully JV's okay, gonna be okay. But props to JV actually to even gut it out because he was coughing a lot on the bench too. So like before the game, so I wasn't even sure if he was gonna be able to be 100%. Just health wise, but Nuggets didn't have a lot of guys, and the Raptors still lost. Make it a little bit more frustrating, I suppose, that Brandon Ingram's miracle three bounced out, or not bounced out, but was ruled out because he still had a fingertip on the ball as the Raptors were forced to foul. Former Raptor and I suppose very minor Raptors antagonizer Bruce Brown stepped to the foul line, missed the first one, then kind of smiled, laughed, kind of pointed to the crowd like, yeah, okay, all right, don't worry, I still got a chance to ice this. Misses the second one, and then Scottie Barnes with a heads-up play, rebounds the ball, throws a full court pass to Brandon Ingram, who had leaked out, and managed to catch it, spin, turn, and then hit a banked-in three to what looked to be force a 106 tie. But upon review, there was a finger still on the ball. So no chance to actually get the overtime, and the Raptors lose in a circumstance in which the Raptors should not have lost. I think we should get out the way, right? I want to give the Nuggets credit because it's very difficult to come in here and play. Obviously, no Jokic is already bad enough, but I mean, you're on the road, you're playing against the Raptors team that has just won the last two games. The Raptors are capable of a comeback, so you can't even feel safe if you do take a lead. And the Raptors did indeed come back. The Raptors were down 13 to Denver in the first half, but the Raptors were able to regain the lead in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, the Raptors couldn't close it out from there. But it was a gritty performance from the Denver Nuggets, and especially because they played a pretty smart game. The game plan's going to start to come out on the Raptors. And this is a game where if the next opponent and the next opponent and the next opponent that sees the Raptors, they'll probably see the footage of this game and they'll say, that's a good idea, I'll do that. Because Raptors could not solve a basic 2-3 zone all night. And that, more than anything else, was the reason why the Raptors lost. The Raptors obviously had stretches where they played well. They had great individual performances. Scottie Barnes with another triple-double. Brandon Ingram was awesome in this one as well. Even IQ prior to crunch time was knocking down shots, but Raptors could not solve a zone. And I think part of this was Denver's necessity because of the fact that they had so many players missing. So they wanted to play the zone anyway. But as the game went on, the Raptors gave them no reason to back out of that zone. I mean, you look at the biggest stat today. Raptors went 12 of 45 from three. First off, the Raptors usually only attempt about 33s a game. So the fact that they took 45 is already 150% more than usual. The reason they took those many threes is because against the zone, the Raptors decided we're just going to keep shooting threes. Raptors aren't a good three-point shooting team. And the Raptors tonight were just shocking from three. If you watch this one down the stretch, you're like, okay, let's get the Raptors game in before we go out for our New Year's Eve plans. Let's tap in to see another comeback. The Raptors were making that comeback, and it was looking promising, but what you would have saw was the Raptors getting wide open threes and the Nuggets getting every defensive rebound because the Raptors, just for some reason, could not hit wide open threes. I mean, Emmanuel quickly missing two wide open threes, Brandon Ingram missing a three down the stretch, Jacoby Walter missing a three, Jacoby Walter fumbling a ball out of bounds. It was just constantly the Raptors were not able to hit threes. And of course, Denver was able to restrict the paint. And so the Raptors' ability to switch it up and get to the basket was also quite not there. I got to credit Peyton Watson for his individual defense because I think, he was able to sort of cut off Brandon Ingram. Sometimes Brandon's going to shoot anyway, but for the most part, he really beat Brandon to the spot a lot of the time. And so Brandon wasn't really shooting the mid-range either. RJ didn't come into the game until late and really didn't do much to help the cause either. And then you throw in a couple missed free throws here or there. I mean, again, like you look back at this game, you're like, it was very costly that IQ shot 4 free throws down the stretch and only made 3 of them because it was just a 1 point difference towards the end. And of course, 1 point is huge. 1 point is the difference between I get to play defense and force a stop versus I have to take an intentional foul, then I hit a three. You know what I mean? And credit to the Nuggets, they made the big shots, the big free throws outside of Bruce Brown down the stretch. Especially from a guy like Spencer Jones, who apparently was shooting 50% from free throws. He switched both when he went to the line, only up one. But nevertheless, the Raptors just could not solve that zone. And I think in particular, man, the second unit tonight for the Raptors, I mean, just shocking numbers across the board. Jacoby Walter, 1 of 6 from the field, including 0 of 5 from 3. Jamal Shed, 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. Sandro Mamukelashvili, 0 of 5 from the field and 0 of 3 from 3. Grady Dick, 0 of 2 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3. Colin Murray Boyles, who was the only semi-productive bench guy who came into the game, 3 of 11 from the field, including 0 of 4 from 3. And then Jamison Battle, who comes in the fourth quarter as like a last option for Darko, comes in the game, actually immediately knocked down the 3, which was funny. Upon review, they saw the foot was on the line, so they took another point away. Again, like 1 or 2 points really could have swung this whole game. But nevertheless, he wasn't really able to even get threes up. And so when you get that little production from the second unit, you're just not going to be able to sort of make a difference in this game, especially considering even though the starters did as much as they could for the most part, RJ wasn't flowing. IQ really, down the stretch just could not get shots to drop like for his life, basically. And then Ochai Agbaji is a walking zero no matter what. So it's like, you basically only kind of had towards the end like 2 guys. And ultimately, as good of a defense as, you could build, no matter who you're missing, you should be able to stop 1 or 2 guys. And the Nuggets really keyed in on, we're going to stop Scottie from getting downhill. We're going to cut off all the transition. They did a great job getting back in transition. They did a great job defensive rebounding, so the Raptors can get second chance opportunities as much. And again, even when they needed to, they could just leave the Raptors wide open from 3, and the Raptors would just miss. And it was just miss after miss after miss. And, typically the Raptors aren't actually that terrible against the zone, especially the starters. The second unit gets zoned quite a bit. And that is a growing trend. I mean, we never seen the Raptors zone as much as they did tonight. It felt like they got zoned for half the game. But, it took away the pick and roll game. It took away, even the ability for BI to sort of play in the mid-range. But I also felt like the Raptors didn't have a lot of great ideas. You figured, okay, if you get zoned the entire game, there's a lot of adjustments you can make over the course of it. I mean, you should probably know that the bench is going to get zoned anyway, considering that's what's been happening in the last couple of games. But over the balance of the game, you didn't really see a lot of solutions that the Raptors presented. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, okay, they kept getting this open shot or they kept, creating this backdoor play. The Raptors recently, for example, when they get zoned, someone will like creep along the baseline. Ochai or Jacoby would like sneak along the baseline and get inside for cuts. No cuts, no cuts for the Raptors as well. So down the stretch, even though the game was winnable and the situation would state that the Raptors were winnable, and honestly, the Raptors defense was good enough. After a really slow first quarter, they were good enough in this game, holding a team to 106, you should be able to win. But the Raptors, again, could not get that 1 extra 3 to drop, that 1, extra, foot on the line, that 1 extra free throw, the 1 extra fingertip on the ball as it was released. Like, a lot of the bad bounces went against the Raptors. But nevertheless, like, I think the issue for this game, as much as, crunch time was frustrating, they couldn't solve the zone. And then the other part, too, is just like, can the Raptors get off to a good start? As fun as it is to like make these comebacks, the Warriors game was one of the most fun games of the year, followed by the Orlando game was great. And then this game looked like it was going to follow the same recipe, really. It was like, okay, Raptors were down against the Nuggets, but then they made a comeback, they made a push. A couple guys were really getting inside, and you're like, okay, now we're starting to score again. Now we take the lead. But down the stretch, again, the Raptors really needed to have all those breaks, and one of them. And quite frankly, I didn't really see a reason why the Raptors needed to be down 13 in the first half. I mean, watching Jamal Murray stunt on the Raptors was one thing. Eventually the Raptors got a handle on Jamal. If there was one good adjustment, it was taking Ochai out of the starting lineup. Why do we keep starting Ochai? Again, this guy's a 0. We can't put him in as a defensive stopper because he doesn't stop anybody. We put him in to stop Jamal Murray. Jamal was cooking in the first quarter, right? So, whatever. But regardless, the second half, they put CMB into the starting lineup in place of Ochai. And what they were able to do then was they put Scottie on Jamal, in which was a big adjustment because in the first quarter they had Scottie on JV. So they took him from the center to put him on the point guard. They put CMB into the starting lineup so the CMB could take JV. And then on those pick and rolls involving Jamal and JV, they were able to switch it. So that was a nice adjustment, and it really did help control the other two guys in the second half of the game. Also, again, JV leaving the game really sort of changed things a lot, obviously, for how Denver could play. But that was a good adjustment, but ultimately, like, the Raptors just didn't come out with the requisite energy, the effort, the type of fight. I mean, you see that in the second half of games, the Raptors, increase their intensity. That's good, and they make adjustments. Those are good, but how about getting it right from the start? Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that you play a Nuggets team without, Nikola Jokic. You don't quite understand. You can't quite predict what's going to happen. But at the same time, these guys are the same guys, right? Jamal's going to be extra aggressive. JV's always been a threat in the pick and roll. I mean, shit, any Raptor fan could tell you that. We've seen him play in the Raptors a decade ago. We knew he was a pick and roll threat then. He remains a pick and roll threat now. There's going to be a pick and roll that you have to guard there. That, Peyton Watson's not a great outside shooter, but he's going to be very athletic and take us strong to the basket. And, those were the three main things. I mean, yeah, it hurt that some of Nuggets, like, ancillary guys were able to knock down some shots, and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jalen Pickett, some of these guys knocked down some threes. Okay, that's going to come with part of the game. But realistically, the biggest issue the Raptors had was they couldn't guard Jamal, they couldn't guard JV, and then they couldn't guard Peyton Watson. And that's the part that's just like, man, you can't guard Peyton Watson? I mean, with all due respect, he's a talented player. He's very athletic. Obviously he's been part of a championship. Like, I'm not putting anything aside. I mean, the Nuggets are a great team, and I think for a winning team, you can't even underestimate their secondary guys. But at the same time, how many times was Peyton Watson driving to the basket and trying to dunk all over the Raptors? Like, you got to anticipate that he's going to drive. And there was lots of opportunities where the Raptors just didn't come out with that type of effort defensively to start the game. And of course, it hurts when the Raptors, again, couldn't knock down shots. The entire bench, like I said, was 0-4 from 3. 0 for 5 from Walter, 0 for 4 from Jamal, 0 for 3 from Mamu, 0 for 2 from Grady, 0 for 4 from CMB. Like, that's 18 threes you've seen miss from the second unit, which is like impossible to recover from on most instances. And that more than anything else is what sinks you. But I also thought that defensively they could have come in and done better. You know what I mean? And then, like, and I think for Darko, like, sometimes you just have to, like, again, like, not hurt feelings, but like, Ochai's not going to do much for you, okay? Like, the hope that Ochai goes in the starting lineup and stops somebody, that's not happened. That hasn't happened even last year. He was decent last year in terms of just being able to knock down a corner three. This year, obviously, he's, like, lost a bit of confidence in that, and he hasn't been able to knock it down, but he's not a stopper, and he's not switchable. I would rather just start CMB with Scottie, which is what the Raptors did in the second half. It gave him a lot more optionality. Now you can play bigger and actually implement your size on the opponent. I think the other part, too, is just, like, they got to make a decision with Grady, right? Like, they keep giving him the chance to play. First half, he didn't do anything. That might just have to be it. After that point, you might just need to try someone else with that group. Because as soon as Grady came in the second half, and he was the last guy to check in basically off the bench, as soon as he came in, he drove in traffic, then threw a pass. It was a turnover. And then he literally let Watson drive straight by him for a dunk. And it's like, those are two possessions you would love to have back towards the end of the game. And I hate singling a guy out because this game was not on Grady. In fact, he didn't even play enough to impact this game. But the point is, we can't just come into every game being like, okay, now we got like 12 guys. We're just going to try to like shuffle them through. Like, play the guys that are going to perform for you. Clearly, the Raptors trust Jamison Battle because even down the stretch, not only is he playing in the fourth quarter after not playing the entire game, which is basically the Jamison Battle special now, which is you're not going to play the whole game, but if other guys suck, maybe you go in there. Which is like, first off, how's that fair to Jamison, right? It's lucky that Jamison's able to knock down a three literally as soon as he comes into the game, but it's like, why can't other guys do that? And honestly, if you trust that he can do that, then play him more minutes, right? And you just continue to see this like pattern where he just comes in as like a closer in a sense. I mean, even on the last plays of the game, like when you really need a really, really strong bit of execution or a very bit of important shot making, he's on the floor again in that moment. And it's just like, dude, like, you might just have to pick your best guys and go with it. Like the Raptors, I know this time of year, there's a lot of like scouts in the building, and you might want to like showcase a guy here or there. And, even last year, they'll never explicitly say they're doing this, but I remember last year, like Bruce Brown's minutes started ticking up and Kelly Olynyk's minutes started ticking up. And you're like, Davion Mitchell's minutes were like pretty consistent anyway, but you're like, okay, are they showcasing these guys? And then lo and behold, those three guys get shipped out at the trade deadline. I understand that to some degree, but it can't be costing you some of the games. You kind of just have to pick the guys and go with it. But otherwise, some minor things, and I'm just gonna race through them because I'm not trying to keep the React Pod going too long on New Year's Eve. I hope you guys are able to go on and celebrate in a way that wasn't just like chilling with me. I mean, I appreciate you guys being here, but I'm hoping that we get a chance to sort of like also count down and everything like that. But okay, a couple other things. Number one, RJ Barrett for game winners. We just got to stop those. Okay, like I know it was a bit of a broken play. Raptors called their last timeout. They tried to throw a cross-court pass. It got deflected. IQ had to look at it, but didn't really want to take it. Then swung it to RJ. Then RJ had to like go into his dribble package, step back for three. I had the same reaction as when I saw the Paolo Banchero step back for three. I'm like, I haven't seen it go in, and I'm not expecting this to go in. I'm not nitpicking on RJ because RJ did a lot of other good things. He was able to punch through the defense, which was great because the Raptors, again, really could not get into the paint. So it felt like RJ was the only guy to do that. But having seen last season in particular, and even the season before that, when RJ was brought to the team in the first place, RJ is good for the balance of the game, in the flow of the game. I love all the shots he takes. Those are all fine. But the game winners, we got to stop those. Last year, we tried a lot of RJ Barrett game winners. It didn't work. And I'm talking about, like, he generates his own shot for the game winner. Because they put up the stat, which is kind of... I mean, they didn't even put the stat. I remember the two games very, very clearly. But there were two games last year where the Raptors lost basically at the buzzer with RJ Barrett trying to take a shot. And both times it didn't go in. That shouldn't be his thing, okay? If we need like a last-second miracle shot, clearly Brandon's the guy because he actually went out and did that. Now, granted, that's a totally different scenario, but like one-on-one, shake and bake, let's try to get separation for three, that should not be RJ's job. And I didn't like seeing that from him. Also, I like that the Raptors trusted CMB to close the game. CMB was awesome against, Orlando. He was pretty good in this one as well, especially with his physicality and deflections and getting, extra possessions with his 5 offensive rebounds. He's been rebounding like a maniac. Those are all good things. But if I have to see Colin Murray-Boyle's wide open threes in crunch time, that says a couple of things. Number one, I'm happy that CMB is confident enough to shoot those because he wasn't really a three-point shooter in college. So that's already a nice progression. And honestly, it is the right read basketball-wise. However, if Colin Murray-Boyle's is wide open three in crunch time, that means the defense is won and the Raptors offense has not chosen the right option. Especially considering there was a play about a minute plus left. The Raptors were still down 3 and they kept just searching for this 3, whatever. But IQ brought the ball up, worked a little pick and roll, wasn't really anything there, was kind of static, and then just swung it into the corner for CMB. And CMB with like at least 12, 13 seconds left on the shot clock, just let it go from the corner and missed the 3. Whatever. Honestly, based on how this game played out, pretty much everybody was going to miss that 3. But that is too quick of a shot for that player in that moment. I'm sorry. Like if it's end of the shot clock, 5 seconds or less, his feet are set and he's open, take the 3. But in that moment, I don't even think IQ should have swung it into the corner because again, like I don't think it's a particularly great shot. And second of all, just again, like in terms of the shot hierarchy for the team in crunch time, that's not where it should be. I know you can't always choose who's going to take the last shot. The defense to some degree is going to dictate, if they put a double team on a guy, obviously that guy's probably not going to shoot the ball, right? So there is obviously an influence from the defense. But if you look at it, I mean, Scottie Barnes didn't get a chance to shoot much in crunch time, and it wasn't a lot of Brandon Ingram in crunch time, right? And when those guys did get good looks at it, they were able to draw really, really an abundance of attention, and they were able to kick it out. Now, granted, after that, other guys got hit the 3s, and that's where IQ and CMB and Jacoby and, those guys, like, really failed at those opportunities. But you would just like to see sort of, like, the crunch time offense run more through those guys. I mean, and this has been highlighted ad nauseum, but as much as IQ has had some nice crunch time moments this season, even as recently as the Warriors game, like 4 nights ago or 3 nights ago. He's not at his best when he's the one bringing the ball up and having to generate and create the possession. It's not great. Like, if I'm talking about, okay, IQ's bringing the ball up and he's immediately putting it into the post for Scottie, or he's immediately putting it into the post for Brandon and not having to burn a bunch of time with it, fine. That's fine. But I even saw instances where he's walking the ball up and I'm like, we're down. We can't be walking the ball up. We just can't walk the ball up in that situation. So there's obviously small little nitpicks that you would want to get to in crunch time. Of course, the Raptors are not a good crunch time offense. They've been a really good crunch time defense, which is great, and we've seen that actually on display the last 3 games. So that's fine. But ultimately, like, there are so many small tweaks that the Raptors need to make to improve how they execute in crunch time that can really improve. And then I think the last thing is just like, there's whenever they get a chance to practice, and I know the Raptors haven't really been given chances to practice recently because ever since the season restarted, they've been either on the road or they've been playing this like, condensed schedule. Like this game, for example, was their 3rd game in 4 nights. Before that, they were traveling in from Washington. So, like, I mean, you haven't heard us from practice. Presumably that means the Raptors aren't going through practice. That means that most times the Raptors have days off or they have optional shooting to come in. They maybe watch a little bit of film. And then the next day, maybe the day of the game day, they'll try to like do a film walkthrough plus on the court. Like, it's like literally like a 5-10 minute exercise to like get people familiar with like, oh, we're going to double team with this guy from here. And then the trigger is going to be the double from here. We're going to rotate here, here, here. And you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, with like the next time the Raptors practice, they have to put in specific zone counters. And I'm not like trying to pretend to be a coach, so I'm not going to say what specific counter they need or what drills they need to put into that. But nevertheless, that has to be the focus of how they approach the next game. And the next time I see the Raptors get zone, I would love to see more progress in sort of what that we saw here tonight. In particular, the second unit has to work on it. The starting lineup is not so bad with it, but the second unit has to work on it, man, because it's getting to the point where, yes, it's great to make these comebacks and whatever, but they ease into the game, they get down, their bench gets zoned, and now you're fighting an uphill battle the whole time. That's going to drain you, right? That's going to put more wear and tear on your legs. And then maybe come crunch time, you may be not able to knock down the open 3, even though you should be able to knock down an open 3. Like, those things all sort of add up. And so tonight obviously was definitely a little frustrating. It was very cool actually to see Brandon hit that shot. Very smart heads up play by Scottie to throw the full court pass to him. And it's very unfortunate that the ball was still on his finger because that was a hell of a shot. He faded away, spun away from the defense, banked it off the glass. It looked like a miracle. And I would have taken OT because I thought the Raptors had, the type of offense or not the type of offense, but just they had more bodies to be able to, overcome in OT. But nevertheless, it wasn't to be. And it's bit of a frustrating game. So, okay, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, and then we'll get to some of your questions. But I appreciate you guys for listening.
This segment is presented by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table. It's at a great location right across the street from Scotiabank Arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Will, what are we having at Table Fare and Social?
Well, they got one of our favorites in the city, Alouette.
Ooh.
And of course, Alouette. Incredible food.
The wedge salad?
The wedge salad, exactly. Imagine you're about to watch a Raptors game, you're about to watch a Leafs game, you're about to catch a concert at Scotiabank, and beforehand, we get together, get a couple of drinks at Alouette, get that salad. We're ready for anything, man.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of options at Table Fare and Social. This is your go-to spot. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fare and Social, a downtown food hall right across from the arena for some great pregame bites and drinks.
Okay, we are going to take your questions. Intern Karem has abandoned me. My intern is not here anymore. Usually he's the one who's looking at the chat and getting your questions. So, I'll be a little bit slower with the questions today. So I hope you guys are cool with that. We are still going to take your questions though. And, let's get to some of them. Obviously people are a little frustrated. I don't think people are that pissed. That's kind of like, the feeling I get here. And it was an entertaining game. It was right there for the Raptors. Maybe even on balance, the Raptors should have won this one, given how open of the looks they were. But again, the sports is not about what should happen; it's about what did happen. Okay, let's get to some of them right now. A couple questions were asking about Bamba not seeing a single minute in this game. Mo Bamba, obviously, the Raptors just added him. How do you not get Bamba at least 5 minutes to see what you have before you commit to the money you paid for him? You are playing Jonas. I think, okay, a couple of things. I mean, realistically, signing a guy off the street and then just putting him into the rotation is a pretty difficult ask. There's probably like different schemes for everyone to learn and everything like that. I think the JV thing, honestly, if the Raptors could have done it over, I don't think they would have put Bamba in the game. I think they probably would have put CMB into the game. I think the big concern wasn't JV. The big concern was Jamal Murray. And they didn't want to be able to give Jamal a guy to specifically target in pick and roll coverage. I think for Bamba, he most likely would have been a guy who would play drop defense, sticking with JV and taking away the role, hopefully. But ultimately, that does make it really difficult for the Raptors to guard Jamal in those instances. I mean, basically, Jamal Murray versus a drop big is a pretty dangerous game that I don't want to play either. I don't know, maybe for the second unit, but again, like the Raptors' big issue was that they were struggling against the zone, so they needed spacing. Now, granted, obviously Mo could probably hit an outside shot as well. I mean, he probably could shoot it better than the Raptors showed tonight, but nevertheless, I think their issue was like not being able to convert from the outside and creating the necessary space to sort of open up the drives. And I don't really see how Mo would have helped with that in one particular. I know the instinct is always like, okay, we see a big guy out there, now we want to match with a big guy of our own. I just didn't necessarily see how that would have factored into this game in particular. But I do think that like they're dying for some practice time, and when they get a chance to practice, maybe implement a couple of things. And I'm sure he's getting taught the playbook from assistant coaches. Usually you get a guy on the team, now you assign an assistant coach to him. Now he's got to learn everything and hopefully learn all the terminology and on all the schemes and everything like that. I'm sure it's nothing that crazy in terms of what Mo has seen in his career. I mean, he's a vet at this point. But yeah, it wasn't I don't know. I don't know. I didn't come out of this game thinking about like, what about Mo Bamba? No, I came out of this game like, why can't you guys hit wide open threes? Like, seriously, man, that shit was frustrating. But no, that wasn't my big takeaway on this one. What else do we have, man? Yeah, I think we actually did decently defensively, especially in the second half. I mean, again, like Denver losing JV was huge because now it kind of left Jamal on an island. They still got enough buckets from Jamal in that stretch, including maybe one of the most frustrating plays of the game, which was the Raptors were guarding the inbound. The Nuggets had taken the last timeout. The Raptors were only down 1 after B.I. had driven in for a quick 2. And the Nuggets had a play where they had Jamal basically near the ball, and they had Tim Hardaway Jr. under the basket. They had both their other 2 players behind the play and like in the front court, and so they were able to lift THJ from the baseline up towards the ball above the 3-point arc. And at this same moment, Jamal was also fronting Jamal Murray, I guess preventing him from the option to curl up the top and get the pass. But what this effectively did was clear out the entire paint, and Jamal is bigger. Well, Jamal Murray is bigger than Jamal Shed, and so they literally just threw the pass over the top to Jamal Murray, and Jamal Murray was able to catch the ball and finish the layup completely uncontested. I don't know, maybe you intentionally foul and maybe they make the 2 free throws anyway, but it was just kind of like, dog, this is, come on, man. Like when you get an inbound play, that's a chance to play defense. When you got an inbound play, that's a chance to, again, like force the offense into a mistake. And instead, they literally got the easiest thing in basketball, which is like a wide open layup. And that was just not it, man. I'm sorry. Like I otherwise the defense was good. Like again, like you held Jamal to 6 of 18 shooting after a hot start. I think they did a great job. They didn't really foul him as much in the second half. They just needed to be better on that front, man. That was tough, man. And also the thing is like, okay, if you know you're gonna like have to foul with the shot clock turned off and the other team doesn't have timeouts anymore, why is there even a guy on the ball? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because again, when you're guarding an inbound, you should have a slight advantage in the sense that like, there's 4 obviously players in bounds, 1 player out of bounds. you have 5 defenders. You could, if you're really that worried about Jamal getting open, you could have, instead of not putting like Brandon on the ball, you could have put Brandon like double teaming on Jamal, or you could just put a double team on Jamal. You could still have single coverage everywhere else. You know what I mean? Now, granted, like they may have thrown the backcourt, who knows? I mean, again, lots of different options, but the worst possible option is that they just throw the pass straight over the top and they finish a layup. Like that was really tough to see. So, yeah, small little things. Yeah, we also always get these type of comments after losses. But I think that's actually a big reflection of how well they played from the 905 so far. By the way, who have just won once again. So the 905 just continue to go out there and do great things. But this one from Padre 3000, AJ Lawson would have brought some jam, or Elijah Martin would have shook it up if guys aren't going to be able to bring it. I think there's going to be an opportunity for these guys, but once the trades actually happen. Because this is the period before the trade deadline. I know people are frustrated because they're like, make the trade now. Not a single trade's happened in the NBA, okay? Like, literally since the season started. The trades are not happening yet. I guess, like, there's all sorts of reasons for that. In particular, it takes at least 2 parties to make a trade. But I do think that once the Raptors do make some of the moves to clear out their clear overabundance of shooting guards, I think that will create more chances for other guys. And in particular, I think that, forget who they maybe get back. I think that the big beneficiaries would be either AJ or Elijah. If I had to guess, honestly, Elijah. Like, Elijah's, like, playing really well. I mean, he damn near had a triple-double last night for the Raptors 905. He's tough. He's physical. He's knocking down threes at a really high clip. That was certainly an area for him to sort of continue to focus on because, in the NBA level, I think he's mostly going to be an off-ball player. He has to knock down the threes. He's done that at a really good clip, again, in the G League level. But he's tough. He's physical. He rebounds. He gets in there, scraps. He's played a little bit here and there for the Raptors. I think most recently I remember him featuring a little bit in that, game against Boston where the Raptors came back for a little bit, but they lost. I would really tab him to get a chance. And then I think AJ could get a chance as well. The thing with AJ is you have to remember the Raptors basically cut AJ before the Alwar Shamshay news dropped that he wasn't going to be physically able to play this year. And that's what allowed them to re-sign AJ in the first place. So I'm not saying that that's the only reason that's going to sort of dictate, but it does feel like, okay, priority-wise, they probably see more in Elijah, who, by the way, they did invest a 39th pick into. It's not like it's a nothing pick, you know what I mean? So I know that people want the 905 championship, and I know for the Raptors organization themselves, they actually do have a big priority on like trying to reestablish 905. I think a couple things they've really found a better coaching situation with Coach Drew Jones in that position after sort of cycling through a couple options at the head coaching position. They've also obviously restocked and given them more players to play with, but nevertheless, like I don't know. I mean. Yes, the G League championship would be nice. It's a complete bonus, man. It's a cherry on top type of situation. I'm not sacrificing even one win in the regular season for the Raptors to win a G League championship. I'm sorry. Like, if that feels cruel to the 905, I apologize. But, like, we have clear priorities here. And I'm sure that, as much as these guys are getting a lot of time to play and hoop and show what they're about, it would be great if, I'm sure, like, if you ask Elijah, would you rather play 30 with the G League or play 10 with the Raptors? You probably play 10 with the Raptors. I think most people would do that, right? So, yeah. I see a comment in the chat. I'm not going to highlight it, but yes, I do agree with you on that one. Yeah, I mean, this one, I don't know. I don't blame Darko as much on this one. So one of the comments was that Darko sees all these bricks and will play everyone but his best 3-point shooter. The thing is, like, okay, recently, you're going to play Jacoby because Jacoby's been fantastic the last 2 games, right? Like, absolutely fantastic. A game changer. And he's actually really turned it around. He's been hitting threes at a consistent clip. I don't know why he just couldn't knock down open threes again tonight. I mean, he was 0 of 5 from 3, 1 of 6 from the field overall, minus 14. But, like, you had to roll with him. So I'm not second-guessing that chance. Jamal's always going to play a little bit. He just wasn't impactful. Again, zones have been really good at neutralizing his ability to score. Jamal overall, this is a good comment too. Jamal needs to work on his offensive game. I think that's absolutely the case. I think that's one of the limitations of Jamal is just like, he just can't really get a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he can kind of go in for that little push floater, and he did have one that rimmed in and out. Like, it was like really halfway down, but it popped back out. Again, a lot of that was kind of the theme of the night, but he just doesn't really generate much offense. And I think that for the second unit in particular, when they get zoned, a lot of that is on the point guard to sort of create something in those scenarios. And whether he's not getting the team organized or he's not generating enough of an advantage of breaking the zone, yeah, teams are clearly comfortable zoning their second unit. And I put a lot of that, honestly, on Jamal. That's an area for him to improve on. He was 1 of 8 from the field overall tonight, too. Usually Sandro would be a lot better than this. This was probably Sandro's worst game of the year. I couldn't really believe it. I mean, Sandro only played 12 minutes, but honestly, 12 was already a lot for him considering how little he did. I mean, usually he's like pretty good. And again, like it sucks that the Raptors didn't catch even one break in the stretch. But I mean, what's a bigger break than not having to see Jokic? If Jokic is out there, Nuggets probably scored 140. So, yeah, it's a big problem. Another question: why are we top blocking Murray in clutch if he's closest to the basket with no help? That's a great question. That's a great question, Coach. That's a great question, Coach. That's not the right option. I don't even care what potential situations may have played into that. That's just not the right option. If you're gonna top block him, you have to at least put a taller defender on him because the pass over the top is so easy, as they demonstrated tonight. What else, man? Someone said that playbook that Mo Bamba's gonna learn has to be like 2 pages. That's tough, man. They just hand him a little duotang. They're like, here you go, man. Just flip through that thing, man. Do I think there's a few too many possessions in the fourth quarter where Scottie didn't get the ball? It feels like he was asking for it. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I really do think that, he... Okay, so there's a bit of a conundrum with Scottie in that you give him the ball. I think that you give Scottie the ball, it makes him a little bit less effective as a scorer, because he's setting up the play at the top, and then he's not really the one taking all the way to the basket himself. I think it's a little bit better to sort of have him get in position, work position off the ball, catches on the block, and then be able to sort of make a play from there, or even have him roll into the basket. That's whatever. That's one thing, right? But I think the main thing is, if we're talking about who organizes the play and sets up the play the best, I mean, Scottie's definitely one of those guys, and Brandon's a finisher for you. That's one option. That's fine. It doesn't really feel like there's much of a plan for RJ right now in crunch time. I mean, granted, he hasn't been playing for over a month, and now that he's playing, he's not. This is the first time he's actually played crunch time, so he's not as much of a factor either. But I think the issue is, like, either IQ has to get way better with how he organizes the offense and sets up plays, especially in crunch time, but even overall in the game, not enough paint touches, not enough opportunities where he's setting up guys. But he has to get way better on that front, or they just have to try something else with that. I don't mind what they're doing with Brandon. It feels like they're already kind of tapped out with it. I don't really want to just give Brandon the ball and have him clear out type of thing. But yeah, like I think Scottie should have the ball as much as possible. I mean, again, like Scottie and Brandon should be the two guys that close out games. I mean, IQ should be off the ball, spotting up for 3. Today he did some of that and he missed them. It is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of how it should be. Or if IQ is more effective on the ball in terms of creating, baskets for himself or creating great advantages for his teammates, then have him do it as well. But we can't have this sort of in between where IQ kind of holds the ball a long time and then sets up Brandon for 1 contested 2, or someone else does something. I mean, I don't know. It's hard because he is the point guard, and so you would obviously like to have him sort of run the plays, just because he's the point guard. But I mean, Scottie can also play point, and I guess sometimes Jamal's out there too. Weirdly enough, Jamal's also actually done a better job of organizing the team and making great passes in crunch time. But yeah, he wasn't good tonight, so he wasn't closing the game. It's tough. It is tough. Sandro was playing so much. Not really. I mean, Sandro only played 13 minutes. He's averaging like 20 on the season. Like he was really he was really inconsistent tonight though. Like he's been playing great overall, and even when the shot hasn't been dropping, he's been flying in for putbacks and stuff like that. There was none of that tonight. It's a tough one. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, we've been seeing him so much that like this year he's accidentally become very important at work, and that's kind of what Mamo is right now. He's a little too important to have a bad game, but yeah, wasn't great. What else, man? Yeah, Darko also kept Scottie out in the fourth quarter for too long. So it was interesting because I felt like Scottie played almost the entire third quarter. It felt like he was definitely on the floor to close the third quarter. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes like Scottie will come out first in the third quarter and then re-enter the game. Oh, okay. So I guess that's what happened here today. So Scottie was one of the first subs out in the third quarter, and then he re-entered the game, but he closed out the third quarter along with Brandon and IQ at that point. Then at the start of the fourth quarter, Scottie was still out there, which is, sometimes he does that, but then he came out the game because he was clearly tired. So like, it was good for him to get some rest. It did feel like there was probably like 2 or 3 possessions too long to have him on the bench. But then again, he also did play 9 minutes and 7 seconds in the fourth quarter. Raptors had, I believe, 3 timeouts in the fourth quarter. So they could have potentially stopped the game and obviously subbed them in specifically. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Will misreads comments a lot. Is that true? What did I misread here today, man? This loss is on Karem. Yeah, absolutely, man. Actually, Colin Sexton, yeah, Colin Sexton will definitely improve the team. There's just a number of like veterans out there that could really help the situation. I do think that like once RJ gets healthier and eats into some of the minutes, it'll kind of lessen the load for some of these other shooting guards that the Raptors keep losing with right now. Like RJ, I think right now the minutes cap is around 24. Once that hopefully he gets to the point where he doesn't have a minutes cap and he's able to play his usual like 30, 32 minutes. I think that will sort of help improve on certain fronts. But I think it's just that like first initial bit of play creation is really, really difficult for the team. And it takes so much time for the Raptors to get into their offense. And a lot of the other stuff has been decent. Like they've been really hunting the offensive glass. Like tonight they had 17. A lot of that is Colin Murray-Boyles, who just continues to be an absolute, menace on the glass. 9 rebounds for him. And it's great that he was able to come in there and switch and operate. At one point I was thinking about it and I was like, that was a nice adjustment to put like CMB into the starting lineup in place for Ochai the second half. And then you put CMB on JV, you put Scottie on Jamal, and then you're able to switch that pick and roll. Kind of similar to like how they used to do back in the day with like they put Scottie on Joel Embiid and they put OG on Tyrese Maxey, and they're able to switch that pick and roll coverage as well. Obviously this is a much less lethal version of that. But like that was a nice adjustment. But the thing is like what you need to make something like that work is somebody who's strong enough to bang with physical centers like JV, but also nimble enough to slide on the perimeter with Jamal Murray and his tricky handle. And it's like CMB could actually do that. That's really cool, man. That's something that I think was just like kind of eye-opening in this game. I mean, we all know that CMB can defend, and we've seen him make a lot of great plays in the last couple of games, making plays at the rim, making deflections, stops, blocks, everything like that. But seeing him switch the last couple of games, whether he was switched on to Bane or switched on to Jamal Murray here, it's just like, dude, that's impressive. That's impressive. And I think that actually showed a lot of trust from the coaching staff. So, hopefully, hopefully we're going to be seeing that defensive combination a long time ago. Just from a long time from now, like that should be the backbone of the Raptors defense for a long time. Someone said, Will, 6 weeks ago you were saying Raptor fans always have a scapegoat, and it's currently IQ. He has earned it. I don't think IQ's doing himself any favors, man. This is the thing. I don't even think he's making the wrong reads, and he's clearly in a bit of a slump. But I think between the contract, between what the Raptors really need, which is better guard play, and then between obviously him missing some key opportunities here tonight, it just doesn't make it easy, man. Like I'm trying to be fair. Like I actually trying to be fair. I try not to sort of like, jump in when everyone's already lumping on a guy. Like, I try to see things at face value. But even me, I walk out this game mad frustrated with IQ. I'm just like, dog, I'm not even okay. It's one thing that you can't create the initial advantage because, like, ideally your point guards are there for you. But then can you space off the ball and knock down open shots? And I'm like, I know IQ can do this. He's a good shooter. He's a really good shooter. But he just wasn't able to come through. It happens, man. It happens. Yeah. So, what else, man? Let's take a couple more questions. Actually, before we take that question, I gotta let you guys know hey, midnight is coming right now. New Year is coming. 2026 is upon us in a mere minutes. And of course, gotta let you guys know, basketball can be very stressful. Okay, you watch this game, you can get a little stress, but your choice of beer does not have to be. Coors Light delivers a mountain cold refreshment. As I change the slide here, hold on, remove the comment. Bang. Okay. So there was a stretch there in the fourth quarter where the Raptors were missing wide open threes. And you're like, damn, Raptors may not get over the hump. And ultimately, the Raptors did not get over the hump in this game. And that's when I realized I could be making the chill choice right now, man. I could be wrapping up the pod. I could be, popping up a bottle right now and just like, celebrating 2026 in the way I should be. But of course, before the show, what I did was this, okay? Took that Coors Light, stuck it in the fridge. I'm like, you know what? After this pod is done, I'm going to pull it out. The mountain's going to turn blue. That's going to mean that the Coors Light is as cold and as refreshing as the Rockies themselves. And that's what I'm going to do. So Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold certified for a smoother finish. When the game heats up, why not make the chill choice by grabbing a crisp, refreshing Coors Light? Find Coors Light near you. Visit CoorsLightShop.ca. Celebrate responsibly, and you must be of legal drinking age. Okay, let's get to a couple more questions before we wrap here. Sorry if I feel like I'm rushing this thing along, man, but you know what I mean? I am kind of rushing these things along a little bit. All right. CMB can hit a three. He's just low volume right now. I know he can hit a three. I know that, but there's a difference between like he's hitting like a rhythm three in the middle of the game versus like he's gonna take 2 crunch time threes. I'm like, that'd be tough. But I do think that like he is improving the threes, and I think with more reps and more time, like especially again, he's a rookie, right? So we can't expect everything at once. Clearly has the basis for it. I mean, if CMB could hit a three, he'd be a solid rotation player in the NBA for years. I don't doubt at all that CMB is going to be a solid rotation player at minimum. Basically, the player he is right now is already a solid rotation player as a rookie. I think that with more time and more experience in the league, like I think he's going to get better and better, in that front. But yeah, he didn't knock it down today. I mean, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Again, I don't even want him. I'm not saying I want him to turn down a three, but especially that one where IQ swung it to him with like 12 on the shot clock. I'm like, that's not the right shot, man. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Guys, send in a couple more questions, man. Criticizing a rookie, what the fuck are you doing? I'm not criticizing him. What? How is that? All right, man. I'm not trying. I didn't say anything inflammatory, did I? Like, we're just talking ball, man. That's it. I'm not saying that we lost because of CMB. I'm just saying that, like, he's not my top option to shoot an open three in crunch time right now. Like, come on, man. Oh, sorry. This is not me. Oh, sorry. Man, without Karem, I'm lost, man. Karem, I can't believe you've abandoned me. I hope you're having a great night, actually, Karem. I'm actually happy you chose to do this. Yeah, CMB's bigger issue really is the soft finishing right now. Needs to toughen up a lot in the rim. He does get blocked a little bit, over the course of the game. I think, again, like I said in the other game, he just probably needs to figure out a strategy for how to finish at the basket. He's not just like so big and like so strong that he's able to, or so athletic that he's able to just jump through and dunk everything. That'd be ideal. I mean, if he could, this guy would be an all-star, no problem. But like I do think that, like, yeah, there's times where he's trying to go for the little short hook. He's either missed those or sometimes he's straight up been blocked on those. I prefer if CMB could get a body on a guy, like, if he can like bump first because he's very strong. I think like people always react to sort of how strong he is. If he can be able to get the bump first and then go for the finish, I would love for him to seek out the bump a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's probably gonna be a guy who, as a big, is gonna play a little bit below the rim, and that requires a certain level of skill and dexterity and plan. You know what I mean? Like the great, undersized big finishers, like the ones that come to mind immediately are like Barkley or Zion. I mean, some of those guys are just freakishly athletic, but even besides being freakishly athletic, they have real plans of how to attack under the basket. And I think for CMB right now, he's got to learn that, like, maybe the moves that he had to finish in college, they're probably not going to work in the pros. And we're seeing that right now. So, yeah, I think there's like a couple of things for him to round out on. I think right now the baseline for him defensively is so high, which is great. And then he just needs to develop some offense, because I think that like it's not going to top out as like he's not going to be like 20-point scorer or anything like that. But I do think that he can be like a really effective like 15-point per game scorer with like good efficiency, hitting like 2 threes a game, a couple putbacks because clearly he's great on the offensive glass, a couple rolls to the basket, and a couple drives to the hoop as well. And like. Maybe I don't know. I don't even want to put too big of a ceiling on him because he may make a monumental jump and redefine it. But as of what I see right now, I think that like based on the opportunities that he gets over the balance of the game, there's no reason why he can't be a decent finisher on those type of chances. And that's what I would like to see. You know what I mean? That's what I like to see. Vote Scottie for All-Star Chat. Yes, everyone, please go visit. What is it? Vote.nba. Hold on. NBA. What's the damn website? All-Star. The website for how to vote for. I mean, you could use Google, right? You can use Google search. Vote.nba.com/en if you're English. I don't know, speaker or whatever. But yeah, I'll put this in the chat right now. You guys can go to this website. Vote.nba.com/en. Actually, you know what? Let's do this as a family. Let's do this as a family, everyone. Let's put in a little all-star ballot. How about that, actually? Yeah. So I am kind of trying to find a little bit of what to do for the pod today because I don't really have any big takeaways other than we just missed some threes. All right. Let's fill out our ballot. All right. First one, West All-Star. Who do I want to see in the All-Star game? Definitely want to see Shea in the All-Star game. Let's put him in the All-Star. Okay. Who else do I want to see in the All-Star game? Steph Curry, absolutely. Who else do I want to see? Out west? Oh, Victor. Yeah, give me Victor immediately. Where's Jokic on this list? Jokic, I hope you're healthy for the All-Star game. You're on my All-Star team, of course. And then, yeah, Luka, why not? Yeah, Luka's been a nasty watch recently. I'm not going to lie to you, so that's kind of tough. But that's my first 5. Okay, I got pretty much the standard. I got Shea. I got I got Luka. I got Ant. I got Steph Curry. No, I don't have Ant. I have Steph Curry. I have Jokic and Wemby. And then out in the Eastern Conference, in the conference that obviously the Raptors are playing in, obviously going to put in Brandon Ingram. Welcome to the All-Star team. Scottie Barnes, where are you? I think this is one of the people pointed out that like All-Star is sorted by points per game. So you do have to scroll down quite a bit to find Scottie Barnes. Like he's in this range with Kristaps Porzingis, Desmond Bane, Kobe White, Ja Morant, Josh Giddey, Trae Young, Cooper Flag, Con Knipple. So you do have to scroll down a little bit, but obviously Scottie has played on an all-star level. I'm putting those two on the team immediately. RJ, unfortunately, I'm not going to give you that for all-star just yet. I'm sorry, but you have not played enough games, and you have not played on all-star level. But in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to show a little love to my boy Pascal. Let's get him in the game. Former Raptor Norman Powell, let's put you in the game as well, of course. This is just my pure loyalty here. And then who else do I really want to see? I got 2 forwards. I need a big. Let's put Giannis in the All-Star game. I would love to see Giannis in the All-Star game. Okay, those are my picks. Submit the votes. Boom. I'm not a robot. Submit the votes. It's that easy. It's that easy. My votes are in. You can now vote again in 50 minutes. So, you can actually vote. You can give them one more vote in 2025 before it comes to 2026. So, yeah, it's literally that easy. Maybe we'll go through this exercise each time, man. Yo, people did not like my votes? Why, man? Why? What's wrong with my votes? I voted with my heart, bro. I voted. Look, what's my ballot? What's wrong with my ballot? Hold on. I think it's a perfectly valid ballot, guys. I mean, in the West, those are just guys I want to see. Steph, Luka, Shea, Jokic, Wemby. And then in the East, I got Scottie, I got Brandon, and I got 2 other former Raptors, and Norm and Pascal, who are hooping this season, and I put Giannis in. It's not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah, W ballot. There you go. I left out OG. You guys want to see OG at All-Star game? I mean, I love OG too, but like some guys you don't want to see at an All-Star game. To be fair, I don't even really want to see Norman at an All-Star game. But OG, what do you want him to do at an All-Star game? Shoot corner threes? Like that's not cool. Yo, you know what? You guys want to boo this? Make your own vote right now. Go ahead and make your own vote, okay? Goodness, man. I can't even put it together an All-Star ballot anymore. Streets are not getting it, man. People want Nikhil in the All-Star game. Nikhil's been hooping recently, man. You see Nikhil versus Shea? Both the guys having 30 balls. Like, I know Atlanta doesn't play any defense, so everyone gets great stats, but that's kind of incredible, man. See those two. Yeah. There you go. All right, we got one more real basketball question, or are we just gonna wrap it up here, guys? What's hey chat, what's everybody's New Year's resolutions? You know, like anybody making plans for the New Year's? You know what I mean? No Kalo, yo, yeah, that's right, man. That's what I want to see, man. I want to see Kyle Lowry at the All-Star game, man. Yeah. Anyone got resolutions? Anybody? People having calendar chats, huh? Okay, this is what's happening. What's going on? This is the problem with all-star voting. You give the vote based on heart. Yeah, man. What are you talking about, man? It's a democracy, okay? This is you know what? This is not the issue with all-star voting. This is the issue with democracy, okay? You give people chances to vote, and they're all even, and people have totally different priorities. They're maybe not rational. That's the power of the people, okay? So for me, I'm not saying these are the 10 best players in the NBA. This is just for me to throw together a little silly exercise and throw a little love behind the players I like. Is that fine? You know what I mean? That's fine. You know, it's not that serious. Gregorian calendar ain't the truth. New Year starts in the spring in nature. So, okay, all right. I didn't know people had hot takes about the calendar, but I actually do appreciate it, man. I actually do appreciate it. People are arguing in the chat. What are you guys arguing for, man? It's New Year's Eve, man. Lose 1 pound. Hey, that's the type of New Year's resolution I like, baby. Let's all lose 1 pound in the new year, okay? Let's lose 1 pound. New Year's resolution is to be more positive on the Raptors. You know what? I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I actually really like, you know, had a little chat with Bob actually before the game. Bob came over, showed a little bit of love, just chopped it up a little bit. You know, didn't press him for any scoops, okay? I told him right away, I'm not going to talk to you about the team. I just wanted to know how he was doing and stuff. You know, sometimes you got to balance it out. You can't only come in and ask for scoops. Sometimes you got to, you know, be a real person and be a real friend sometimes and just check in to see how people are doing. But no, I mean, you know, he gave me a good perspective. He's like, yo, like, he's like, what's there to complain about, man? We're 20-14 right now. Obviously today they lost. It's a bit annoying, but there could have been a real chance you were 21-14. Every single person in the world would have taken that in this opportunity. They have ups and downs. Obviously, you know, the team's had a couple injuries. Guys been sick in and out of the lineup and stuff like that. It's a young team. They're going to have inconsistencies. Even old teams have inconsistencies. All things considered, I'm actually really thankful and actually really grateful for where the Raptors' position is right now. And I'm happy that we have Brandon Ingram on the team now. I'm happy that Scottie Barnes is, you know, taking this step forward. You know, I'm happy that RJ has played. I guess his value has been shown in his absence. I'm not so happy with our IQ, but I do think overall that he's fine. He's fine. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. I wish he's more consistent. Whatever. Nobody's perfect, but and then you have a bunch of these young guys who, you know, sometimes is great. Like the other games where we were like, come on, Jacoby, we love you, and now we're like, dog, why can't you hit an open three? But ultimately, on the whole, on the balance of it, I think this season has actually turned out quite well, and I'm hoping that it just continues that way. So, a little bit more positivity for the Raptors in 2026 is pretty good. Would be pretty good. What else, man? Can we write in Yao Ming for the vote? Yo, by the way, I was recently watching the documentary Year of the Yao. Okay, Year of the Yao. This thing. Hold on, let me find the picture of Year of the Yao. Why can't I type on this thing? Year of the Yao. So it covers Yao Ming's first year in the NBA, his transition from playing Chinese basketball for the Shanghai Sharks to being in the NBA as obviously the first overall pick for the Houston Rockets way back when. And yeah, it was a really fun watch. You know, I mean, I watched it, you know, over Christmas with my family. We're like Christmas Day. We're like, what do you guys want to watch? I'm like, let's watch Year of the Yao, everybody. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to learn more about Yao Ming, especially his early years, yeah, Year of the Yao, there's a documentary. It's actually really well done. It covers a lot of him and his translator, which I think was an interesting storyline that at that time I didn't really fully take in. But yeah, I mean, Yao was you know, I mean, as a Chinese person, Yao was literally one of the most important Chinese people of all time for me. And I'm always gonna be cheering for him, and his story is incredible. I don't think it's just for Chinese people. I think there's actually a lot of good immigration little details in there too that I think a lot of immigrants can sort of relate to, and more importantly, it's also like a really cool like basketball story. Like it's just a good basketball doc. You know, it shows the ups, it shows the downs, shows a legendary moment where where Barkley was like, you know, one of the early haters of Yao Ming, and he said famously on TV, like, "I'll kiss Kenny's ass if Yao Ming scored 19 points," and then Yao Ming plays on TNT against the Lakers of all teams, drops 19, wins the game, and then Barkley, obviously be a great sport, literally has Kenny, like, you know, Kenny Smith wheels out an actual donkey, and Charles Barkley, being a good sport, actually kisses a donkey on the ass. Like it's incredible. Like all of those things were really, really fun times. You know what I mean? So shouts to Year of the Yao, man. Yao's one of my favorites. Literally one of my favorites. I got 2 Yao Ming jerseys, man. There's no Raptor I got two jerseys of, but I got 2 Yao Ming jerseys, of course. You know, so someone sending $3. Shouts to Alex for sending me merch. Hey, appreciate you for watching the show. And we will obviously have lots more opportunities to be able to, you know, send merch to the people watching. You know, I think that's one of the nice things for 2025 that I'll remember is that like we've really grown and expanded. Hello and welcome. We've dropped some, you know, pretty cool interviews that we did with like Norman Powell, Serge Ibaka, you know, Bobby Webster, Fran VanVleet, you know, and we'll continue to do that. Summer League, we talked to Jamal, Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, Mamu, like just want to just continue to expand the coverage of this platform. I know going independent has its own challenges, but ultimately I've been really, really happy with sort of what the team has been able to put together, and I'm really proud of it. And of course we have more to come in the new year too. So wow, 2 guys are just yelling at each other in the chat. I guess that's the internet for you. It's fine. What else, man? Chat nears a Coors Light. Yo, guys, you guys got to stop fighting, man. Make the chilled choice, guys, please. Padre and the other guy, make the chill choice, man, please. Yeah, Chad ain't making the chill choice. Exactly, man. Come on, man. Put that thing in the fridge, let it turn blue, and make the chill choice, man. What did Bobby get for Christmas? I don't know, man. Actually, the Raptors team as a whole got to spend some time in Christmas at Larry Tannenbaum's house. That was pretty cool. He has a mega mansion, as you could imagine, in Florida. So that's part of the reason why you saw Larry T at the game when the Raptors played in Miami on the 23rd, and Masai was there. Whole big Raptor family in, you know, one of these mega properties. So they got to spend some New Year's around the super wealthy. What else, man? Will you drinking that Yao Ming wine? Yo, chat, can someone please send me a bottle of Yao Ming? Please? You know what I mean? I think people... Yao Ming wine. Yeah, this is what I want, man. This is what I want, is Yao Ming wine. You know, obviously Coors is going to hold me down for everything when it comes to beers. But, you know, once in a while, I'm going to switch to some of the grape. And when I do that, I want to try some of this Yao Ming wine. Hold on. I think people know what this Yao Ming wine is, right? I got to enter my birthday to even look at the wine. I mean, guys, come on. 1992. Okay, there we go. Yao Ming. Yao Ming. Yao Ming, Yao Ming, Yao Ming. Yao Ming. Can I... Oh, this is a WebP image. Come on. Who doesn't use PNGs in this, or JPEGs in this day and age? Okay, I'll show you guys the Yao Ming wine. This is what we pop in at midnight, in addition to our Coors, by the way. We pop in this. What are we getting? Whew! Okay, first off, that bottle is absurd. Why is it such a big bottle? Why? Yo, Yao Ming is way too big to be looking to... that bottle must be like 5 liters sitting beside Yao Ming. Yo, I'm crying at this photo. Yo, anyway, yeah, last night we popped the bottle and we let the Yao Ming speak, man. This is nuts. This is nuts. Oh, man. Yo. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Can some fan please find me a bottle of the Yao Ming wine and send it to me? We'll even split this with you, okay? Let's find somewhere with a corkage fee and pop the Yao Ming bottle. I will personally join you with that. I'm sure Alice and Jerome will get a kick out of drinking the Yao Ming as well, man. Let's let's please get this bottle, bro. This thing, look how this thing, man. Yo, that has to be at least like a gallon or something. And it's not even in like a plastic tub, like for people listening. Like this Yao Ming one is in a full bottle, but like it's one of those bottles you could put like a ship into. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is absurd. I'm gonna order this to Hongqing and enjoy with some of my friends, man. So, yeah, JR with the comment, big ass bottle, small ass pour. Hey, by the way, pour is spelled just kidding, okay, JR, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. See, he corrected it right there. How do you pour that shit? There you go. So, all right, well, guys, I hope you guys are all enjoying the rest of 2025. I appreciate all the time that we have spent together on this show. Whether you've been in here yelling at other commenters, or you've been asking questions, or you've just been silently watching and enjoying the recaps. After the wins and the losses, we're always here, and I see that from you guys as well. I see the Raptors are obviously having a nice little season here with a couple things going right, and hopefully we just continue to build and grow on the whole thing. I know we have some frustrations to air out. IQ is not popular right now. Sometimes me and Darko, I'm a little hard on the coach. Sometimes people are mad at Bobby for management and how the team is built, and I'm sure people have gripes, but at the end of the day, we're literally all here because we all love the Raptors, and we just appreciate that we get to sort of come together and connect. Love to all of you guys. I appreciate you guys. Oh, I didn't even hand out the 3 stars. Hold on. why am I giving this whole stupid little speech if I don't have 3 stars? 3 stars from tonight's game. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, first star is Scottie Barnes. Almost triple-double, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, a steal, a block. Would love if you touched the ball in crunch time, but, it is what it is. Brandon Ingram, 30 points, 11 of 21 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. Was the only guy who could really knock down threes, including, by the way, the fadeaway banked in 3. That was nuts. But 8 rebounds as well. Really should have been seeing OT, and I really thought that he would win it for us in OT. And then your third star, man, I guess I'll give it to IQ or to RJ. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. No more game winners, please, RJ. Just we have Brandon for that. Like let's just be efficient and do the things he does. But 7 of 13 from the field, should have been 7 of 12. But yeah, decent secondary scoring from RJ Barrett. Your Gerald Henderson Award winner, that's gonna go to obviously Peyton Watson, who took over tonight. 24 points, 8 rebounds, just slashing and being fearless, going to the basket relentlessly was a huge factor in this game. But yeah, seriously, everybody, go have a great Happy New Year. Go celebrate New Year's. Seriously, celebrate responsibly. Don't make any dumb decisions. Just try to enjoy it. Savor life. More life to you guys. Yeah, we'll be back. I believe actually tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Yeah, I think we're gonna be back tomorrow. Me and Alex will be doing a New Year's Day pod and just look at sort of where the team is right now. But otherwise, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, cheers. See you guys then. And in the next Raptors game.